Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thursday webinar series. We appreciate you sharing your lunch hour with us. Very excited today to chat about one of our latest deals on Peach Drive. It's a great deal for some investors looking to cash out actually sooner than later, which is fantastic. I want to encourage everyone on the call in the lower right-hand side where it says questions throughout the call. Feel free to ask anything that might come up about the topics we're talking about or anything outside the box. We are certainly happy to field any of the questions. And lastly, and certainly not least important, I'd like to introduce our featured guest. We dragged him out of webinar retirement for a moment to join us today, Mr. Greg Cohen, one of our co-owners. Greg, you there, pal?
I'm here. How you doing, Adam? Good to be on the call.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we're fortunate to have Greg. Greg has actually built himself out of the business to where he only has to come into the office twice a week, but he has done virtually every aspect of the Jacksonville Wealth Builders program and is extremely knowledgeable investor himself. So great asset while we're talking about deals to have him on the call today.
Absolutely, and actually I'm really excited to talk about this deal because, Adam, I know you know this, but with my current role in the company, I don't get out there and see all of the properties anymore. But this one on Peach is actually one that I have seen, and I love the deal, and so I'm excited to talk about it. So
very true. Very true. One of the very few deals you've seen in the past few months, right?
That's true. That's true. It's because I have such great teammates that allow us to build ourselves out of some of the roles. So it's a credit to you, my friend Adam.
Well, good to hear, bud. Well, I always like to start a webinar with a success story. Wanted to show a picture of our investor, Chandra Group, who closed on his first investment deal earlier this week. Sean, a funny story about him. He's a very even keel, mellow guy and very well spoken. We put a camera in front of his face asking for a testimonial, and he froze up a little bit, but we wanted to show him in his environment here, sitting aside on top of his motorcycle. And he just closed his first deal on Charbeth. It'll be cash flowing about $413 a month, so it's a fantastic deal. And
absolutely, and Sean is a good friend of mine. I'll just add, I talk to a lot of investors that are interested in our program, and they vary widely in terms of what their goals are, what their experience in real estate is. Sean actually is a little bit of both in terms of he has a job right now. He's a professional. He's a financial advisor. But he has done this program. He's done Jacksonville Wealth Builders, and he actually has gotten inspired, and he's I hope none of his coworkers are on the line right now, but Sean is actually thinking about going full-time into investing right now because he's been just so enamored with the returns. So this program works for investors, whether they are professionals and they do not have any time, and even for sometimes it's great for full-time investors that want to focus on actually flipping properties but don't want to focus on the management, and they want that passive cash flow. So Sean's a tweener.
I'm sure that's exactly what he wanted to be called, Greg.
I can only say that because he's one of my good buddies.
There you go. There you go. Well, let's talk a little bit about Peach Drive. And I know this is the pics look a little different than the last time you were out there, Greg. We actually finished the renovations last week, so it is a completely renovated house now. Looking at it, it's nestled back into, it's off of a small windy street, but off of a much larger street, which is fantastic because it has a good amount of traffic, but it's not a main road. It's got vinyl siding, which is fantastic, very easy to clean. As you can see in the picture at the bottom, that's the new living room. The living room, the last time I was there, actually, we were cutting into the drywall, replacing a bunch of rotted wood, so it looks completely different from the last time that I saw it. And then a snapshot of the kitchen, and back behind the kitchen leads into the washing and drying room, the laundry room. So just to give a kind of a quick snapshot pictures of this house here on Peach. Greg, look any different from the last time you saw it, pal?
Oh, absolutely. Last time I was there were about 4 crews and geez, a lot of stuff was going on. People in suits running around in lead abatement suits. We had to take care of those issues for the house, and yeah, felt like they had a bunch of moon suits walking around last time. But yeah, it looks great now.
Absolutely. The renovation team did a fantastic job. And just to kind of give I know we have a lot of investors, both local and national, on the call today, and want to give kind of a breakdown of where this house is located and some of the great aspects about the neighborhood that it's in. It's on the east side of the river, which is a pocket of Jacksonville called South Side. It's south of downtown. It's nestled between the river and the beach about evenly, as you can see from the map. It is a very highly desirable area. It's off of a main strip between Southside Boulevard and Atlantic Beach, both between 4- and 6-lane highways. So it has a lot of traffic, but it's nestled off into a 2-lane road, which is kind of nice because you have the quiet, peaceful nature settled into a neighborhood, but also a high-traffic area as well close by. Greg, do you want to kind of touch base on the location?
Yeah, South Side is kind of like a buzzword in Jacksonville real estate. If you hear of an investment opportunity in South Side, investors jump all over that. They're very few and far between. And with our different companies, we actually sell homes on the retail market in a different aspect of our company. And a lot of our homes for selling right now are in the South Side area. That's because it's very desirable and homes are actually selling there. And so that's why this house on Peach, being in the Jacksonville Wealth Builders program, which is not about selling for retail value, it's about holding for investment purposes for passive cash flow. That's why this is such a special property. I mean, Adam, I don't know if we've had more than maybe 2 properties in the South Side area for the Jacksonville Wealth Builders program in the last 6 months. Is that right?
Yeah, it's been few and far between. It's tough to find a deal in Southside that's priced reasonably to where it's set up to cash flow at least $250 a month. Most of the Southside properties have a higher value and in turn a higher entrance for our investors, which leads to much less of a cash flow and in some instances actually no cash flow if they were to go that route. So the reason our properties fit into the Jacksonville Wealth Builders program is because they're reasonably priced. They're priced below discount value for our investors, but more importantly, they're structured to cash flow. It's what it's all about, is the income earned each and every month. But it's a great point. It's tough to find properties in Southside for the Jacksonville Wealth Builders program.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's take a look at the actual specifics about this house here on Peach. The purchase price for our investors is $87,000. The estimated after repair value is $105,000. One thing about the way we calculate the after repair value, we get this question all the time. Do we use RealQuest? Do we use Zillow? Do we use Trulia? The best way as an investor, this is a great tool to calculate the after repair value or the market value of a property, is through the listing service, the MLS. Sold comps within the last 3 months within a mile radius. And we'll start the search within a half-mile radius and only expand to a mile radius if necessary. But that's how we determine the after repair value. And as you can tell, the houses here sell for anywhere between about $100 and $115 on average. So we conservatively put the after repair value at $105 for a house of this size. Just to touch base on a couple quick things, we'll get into the details about it a little bit later, but the house is already rented, so that monthly rent figure is actual. It is not projected. The management fee, if you were to use Progress Property Management, our in-house company, is a 9% figure. We do estimate on our cash flow spreadsheets a 10% figure just to provide a buffer and also allow you the option to use another outside company for property management if that was your preference. Most of our investors elect to use Progress Property Management and enjoy the 9% fee each month. And then the taxes. The taxes are taken straight off of the coj.net website. So those are the actual taxes, which is nice for an investor to see exactly what they're getting into. Alrighty, so let's talk about ways to buy this house, and this is the first way. This would be an all-cash purchase. We estimate the purchase price plus the closing costs, so you're looking at around $88,000 to get into the house, and your net income would be about $8,900. So your cash-on-cash return, if you were to purchase it with all cash, would still be over 10%, which is fantastic. I know, just looking at my 401k over the past few years, it certainly hasn't produced anything close to that, and most traditional investment methods are much less than that. So, Greg, do you want to kind of share with the crowd exactly ways that they can buy all cash outside of the conventional thought?
Absolutely. All cash is definitely the easiest for an investor to get into one of these deals, assuming, of course, that they have the cash. It's a much simpler process than working through a loan, which is it's got its own obstacles because of the current lending environment and how much documentation is needed, things like that. But a cash-on-cash purchase, some people are intimidated by that. They might not see that cash in their savings account or their checking account. There's a lot of ways to make a cash purchase. One of them, of course, is having the cash, but then you can also think of things like your self-directed IRA. A little-known fact is that you can actually buy properties with your IRA. It's through a special method called self-directing, and you have to work with a professional, and we help our investors actually get acclimated to the self-directing IRA. But it's a way for you to take that IRA money that's sitting there that typically only had your traditional investment opportunities like stocks and bonds and things like that, open up a whole new world for your IRA that you can now be earning these great returns. You see 10% here. So in addition to straight cash purchases, there's also your self-directed IRA. And there's another one that a lot of people just don't ever think about, and it's actually raising money. One of our investors who's currently closing on a loan, they'll be closing next week, it actually raised money to purchase the property with all cash. And that's one thing that we have a lot of experience doing. Frankly, that's how we built our business, is by raising private money to do our own real estate deals. And we're happy to help our investors, our potential clients, do the same thing so that they can reach their goals of investing and getting this passive cash flow. So it takes some skill, it takes some knowledge, and working with somebody who has done it before helps you tremendously when it comes to raising private money, but it's always an option. And frankly, once you learn how to do it, it becomes easier and easier every time. And nobody should be intimidated. I can tell you that we started out when I was 23 years old and didn't have much money in the bank and didn't have any real estate experience, but we were able to raise private money. And I'm convinced that with a little help, everybody can actually raise private money to do real estate if you give them a little bit of time. So it's a great option that not a lot of people talk about, but we're absolutely excited to help our potential clients. I would invite anybody who's interested, of course, in the cash purchase or the self-directed IRA purchase, or even raising private money to talk with us. We do one-on-one strategy sessions where we find out if it's a good fit for our program, and we'd be happy to counsel you on that. So let everybody know about that. You can call our office anytime. It's 904-677-6777.
And Greg is actually in another form. He's actually holding a course this weekend for a handful of investors. About 15 to 20 investors are coming to the office to learn how to raise private funds from Greg Cohen. So, yeah, little transition there for you, pal. He's well versed at it.
The plug, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bud. My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, let's move into the other option and the other format of the way our investors typically invest with us, and that's through a traditional conventional loan. The requirements are 20% down. Usually you're looking at a 660 credit score minimum. You need to have 2 months reserves for all leveraged properties that you have a current mortgage on. But the great thing about leveraging your resources and using traditional financing is you can get into an investment property for as little as about $18,000 to $22,000, $23,000, and it have a return upwards well over 15%, which is fantastic. And that's really how we structure all our deals, based on this leveraged model to return at least 15% net to our investors. So this house, let's just walk through the numbers real quickly from an annualized perspective. You're looking at an $87,000 entry. We do expect about $5,000 or so closing costs, so we budget that in. So your total initial investment is about 22.6. Your gross income is just your monthly rent times 12 months, of course, minus your expected principal and interest, and we'll show you in just a moment how we come to that number, your taxes, your estimated insurance, and then your management fee. And again, that's used a 10% model. Our in-house management company only charges 9%, so it's a 1% each and every month that you would be saving, which gets you to your net income. So you'd be looking at making a little over $3,900 in net income for less than a $23,000 investment, which yields a fantastic return of over 17% on this house, which is outstanding. And just to kind of give you a breakdown of how that evolves from a monthly perspective, most of our investors like to look at it from month to month as opposed to annualized. We factor it using a 30-year fixed, 6% interest rate loan. And that's how we come to the principal and interest. Obviously, the monthly taxes are just your annual divided by 12. Same with your insurance. So usually your mortgage payment's a little over $600 in this situation. About $617.79 is our estimate. The great thing about this is that the interest rate is overestimated. The home that we closed on with Sean on Monday, Sean, the gentleman who was on the motorcycle earlier, he locked into a 5.5% interest rate. The most recent lock rate that I saw yesterday for one of our investors buying a home was 5.625. So 6 is a high estimate, and our goal is to do better than that 327 number. And certainly the way we structure all of our deals is to under-promise and over-deliver. That's the way that we're able to build strong referral business and also repeat business, because obviously the clients are the most important component, and we have to set expectations and beat expectations. So the 327 is a conservative number. The equity is calculated easily by the $87,000 difference between that and the $105,000 after repair value. So that's how we kind of come to this number. Greg, do you want to touch base on just the great option to be able to buy with only 20% down?
Well, absolutely. I mean, assuming that you have the ability to get a loan right now, we encourage all of our investors to finance their properties if that is an option, as long as that goes and fits with their goals. Now, some of our investors have a goal to get a certain amount of cash flow. That's their goal. It might be, I want to get $5,000 in passive monthly cash flow, and that's my goal through this program. So the way to do that, with of course taking the least amount of money out of their pocket, because of course money is a limiting factor for them, is to buy as many homes as you can with that same $100,000. So when you're talking about that, it fits more in line with their goals to go ahead and finance properties. And even though it is a little bit more of a trying process, you're going to have about a month of struggles in terms of getting documentation and things like that, those things you just can't avoid. It's worth it because it helps them reach their goals much quicker. And Adam, just talking about this house on Peach, I'm reminded of a conversation I had with my dad.
Yeah.
Now, this house on Peach, it's a house in the South Side neighborhood. It's a desirable neighborhood. It's a good rental neighborhood. And my dad actually just bought a house from us last week, and it was before this one on Peach was available. So he said, Greg, I see you have these deals. How do you know when it's a home run, when it's something that you're going to tell me as your dad to go ahead and jump on? And I have this sort of thing internally with myself. I say, hey, listen, if it's in a great neighborhood like this house on Peach is, and you've got expected cash flows of over $300, that's a great deal. That is one that's going to go quickly. If it's in a neighborhood that might not be as desirable as Peach, you're probably going to have higher cash flows. And I tell people if it's a 350 cash flow, then that's just an absolute steal, and that's not going to stay around for long. So you think about this house on Peach, it's in the best neighborhood that we invest in Jacksonville. And you've got over a $300 a month cash flow. That's what I tell people, that you got to jump. You got to jump on that one, because most of our investments are positioned to have cash flows between 250 and typically 300, 325. It's hard to get above that. So with Peach, you've got that great neighborhood. Somebody who might want to cash out in 5 or 10 years has a great opportunity to do that. and at the same time, you're not giving up cash flow. You're actually having a great cash flow as well. So I thought I'd share that with everybody.
Fantastic. That's a great point. And as we transition from the deal, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what we actually did to the property during the renovation and some of the things that we've done to the house to really put the investor, the long-term investor, in a situation to minimize the maintenance. We get the question all the time, what's the biggest risk? I mean, we just looked at the numbers. Anybody would be excited to have those numbers, to be able to earn over $300 a month for a consistent period of time, the length of their investment for a $20,000 investment. But what are the drawbacks? What's the risk? And at the end of the day, we want to prepare our investors for obviously all of the benefits and certainly prepare them for all of the potential costs, because owning real estate is a risky business. The riskiest part is maintenance and vacancy, making sure that a tenant is in there paying the rent, which in turn pays down your mortgage. And then the other thing that does pop up from time to time, owning real estate for a long period of time, is maintenance issues on the house. Now, our renovation team typically goes above and beyond. Our goal is to really take care and address all potential high-cost maintenance issues. And I'm going to walk through and kind of show you exactly what I mean by those. The roof is 1998. We did do a couple different repairs, but we had our licensed roofer go out to the house and inspect it. He felt confident that it had between 12 to 15 years left of life. So that's fantastic. Usually most of our homes, the roofs are good for about 25 years. This roof is on its 13th year of life, so it should have at least 12 years left, which is great for an investor because you don't have to worry about a major repair for at least another 12 years. Another thing we did is we replaced an AC unit. AC units usually run between $3,000 and $3,500, so it's important that we set the investor up for success. Obviously, we're in a very warm state. We're in the state of Florida, where temperatures, spend the majority of 5 to 6 months over 90 degrees. So AC units are always blazing. It's important that you have a relatively new AC unit as you start your investment. And the unit on this property on Peach is a 2011 brand new installed, which is fantastic for an investor. It has new appliances, which is awesome, and the appliances come with a 1-year warranty. So should there be any sort of a concern that pops up, you have brand new appliances, but more importantly, you have a warranty on those appliances. We converted the back patio to a 4th bedroom. Now, at the end of the day, we're always looking to maximize living space for potential rent. So what we did is we converted an area on the back patio that did not have AC. We added square footage to the house. We turned a non-functional patio into a functional 4th bedroom, which was able to really boost the rent. We were able to get $1,050 in rent for this house, and as a 3-bedroom with a patio, it probably would have rented no more than about $900. So as an investor, by doing this upfront renovation and converting the patio to a 4th bedroom and adding AC ducts to run it and add square footage, we were able to add at least $150 in rent each and every month to your investment. We updated the plumbing. The plumbing in this house was galvanized, which is a little bit more risky. We updated to PCVC, which is more updated, less risky, less leak hazard, and better for a long-term investor. And then, of course, we updated the electrical panel. We added square footage. The panel was an older panel. It only had 100 amps, and our requirement is that the panel has at least 150 amperage to support the square footage necessary. So we did a lot to this house, which, I was talking to one of Gregg's business partners, Adam, the other day, and he was telling me that when he goes to buy an investment house, one of the things he wants is he wants a house that just had a ton of updates. He wants a house that just had a ton of renovations because he knows he's getting everything new. And that's it's certainly applicable here on this house on Peach. Gregg, what are your thoughts, pal?
Well, I totally agree with everything you said as far as people getting basically a brand new house. And that's one aspect that a lot of people overlook. I know a lot of investors go out and try and find their own real estate and find a good cash flowing deal by themselves. And what you'll typically find is the house might look good, but you do have a lot of issues somewhere down the line. You have them 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, years down the line. And if you've just had a house that has been massively updated, put dozens of thousands of dollars into it, your chances of finding that same fate and spending a lot of money in deferred maintenance, those are limited. And that's an amazing opportunity. It doesn't really show forth in the numbers there, but from experience of doing 250 deals like this, those issues pop up. And I know Karen Riegel is on the phone and on the call with us. She's one of our best inner circle members, and she has been an investor for a long time. I know she'd agree that taking care of these issues up front and buying a property that has just had a lot of these major updates done to it is man, you just can't even count how many headaches that's going to save you later on. And actually, Karen sent in a special note, a special question that I know she knows the answer to, and she was helping to remind us to remember to tell everybody that she said, is there a warranty on workmanship, appliances, HVAC, etc., when we buy a renovated home from you? Karen, thank you so much for reminding us. Yes, there is a 1-year warranty on all work performed by Progress Home Buyers on every investment property that they purchase through us. So for 1 year, if it's been fixed by Progress Home Buyers, in 1 year, it's going to be fixed, not at your expense. It's that 1-year warranty, which should give everybody more peace of mind when you're making an investment decision like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, and then of course the last component, and probably one of the most important components, is having a lease and having a tenant. You know, the great concept is that someone else is paying down your mortgage for you. That's what makes this model go. And this house was actually rented out before the renovation was even finished. Our property management team showed these tenants another home that we had finished, showed them this house where it was, and these tenants had the vision to see what the house would look like after renovation. And just to give you a backdrop, the last time I was there a couple weeks ago, we had open drywall, we were replacing wood rot. It certainly was not a pretty sight. So more power to them to have the vision. That's not something we see too often, is it, Greg?
Absolutely not, man. That is an amazing opportunity. I mean, many times people buy houses and they need to have vision when they're actually making a purchase. You know, sometimes they'll buy a fixer-upper or things like that. It's pretty much unheard of for a tenant or a resident to have the type of vision required to walk into a house and say, well, I trust you guys. I see the quality of the work in your other houses. I'm going to go ahead and sign this lease when the house looks like a piece of junk. You know, that's our Progress Property Management. That's Mike Stetson doing an amazing job, and his external sales team doing an amazing job showing people the value of the type of quality of work that we do. I mean, it's just not possible without that. You know, it's pretty amazing. When I heard that we were starting to do this, which has happened a lot over the last few months, I mean, I was pretty shocked. I'll just leave it at that. I thought Mike might be doing something else to get him to sign leases.
And he's done a fantastic job. I mean, that seems to be a going trend. What's odd is the tenants having more vision than most first-time home buyers, which is fantastic. And the lease is good through next March. So, you know, we aim for 2-year leases, but I would say that about 60% of our leases are 1-year leases. A lot of our houses are rented out through the Section 8 HUD program, which doesn't allow us to sign a 2-year lease. I think about 40% of our houses are through Section 8 HUD housing, which is government funded. This house is not. This is a private owner or private tenant outside of the government funded program. So, and of course, what would it be to have a webinar and to not have an offer, Greg Cohen?
You can't do that. I mean, it's like peanut butter and jelly. You gotta have one and the same, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no choice, right? So we wanted to extend a little bonus, and I know there's one bonus up there, but I'm gonna come out of the woodworks with another one. But what we're going to do is, if you are an investor in our inner circle and you have interest in putting this house under contract in the next few days, by next Monday, we're going to give you 1% in seller concessions, which on this house would be $870 towards your closing costs, less out of pocket for you. The other thing I'd like to do, just because I feel so confident about our property management team, is if you put this house under contract by Monday, April 11th, we will give you a 1-year no vacancy guarantee, meaning that between now and the time that this lease ends, we will make sure that that house is rented. And should for some reason the tenant move out or go through any challenges, the cost will be on us. I feel that confident about Mike Stetson. We call him Cash Flow Mike in the office because he does such a fantastic job. But I feel confident that we'll be able to get that done. So you've got a 1% seller concessions and a no vacancy guarantee for the next year. Greg, do you want to talk about how investors can get approved to work with us?
Sure, but I just want to find out, what'd you eat for lunch, man? Because you definitely didn't tell me about that second bonus that you're...
I had a hidden card up my sleeve, pal.
I always got to stay on my toes when Eisman's involved. Hope you ran that by Mike Stetson, man.
Absolutely. He's 100% sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. No, those are fantastic bonuses. And I forgot what I was supposed to speak on, Adam. I was so blown away by how much what we're throwing out there. What was I supposed to comment on?
I was going to ask you to kind of share with the audience, what they have to do to be able to get approved to invest with us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of people aren't actually aware of how our program works. We, of course, are always looking for potential clients, and what we do is have a strategy session with our potential clients. And what we're looking for there is, of course, to give you all the information you guys need to make decisions as if this is a program that can meet your goals, and we want to answer every bit of information there. But we also want to find out about you, because one foundation that our company is built on is we want to work with the right people. And what we found is that we have a system that works. It is producing great returns for hundreds of investors, and we're looking for investors out there that can simply plug into our system. So what we do is we out of all of our thousands of investors across the country, we select a very small group of individuals, and those people are what we call our inner circle members. And now only members of our inner circle can actually invest in the Jacksonville Wealth Builders properties. So it's a very simple process. It starts with reaching out to us and scheduling a one-on-one session with one of our directors here in the program, and we'll go through and find out about you, and you'll find out about us. And if we determine that it's a good fit, we'll get you on the phone with one of either Adam Eisman, or I'd be happy to get on the phone with you myself. And what we'll do is actually determine if you'd be a good fit for our team, because the most important thing for us is we want to work with the right people. And it's more than just about having enough money to be a part of the program. So I would first invite anybody out there, if you are interested, don't think about money as being a limiting factor for you. We can help you actually get over that. What I find typically is money is the easiest obstacle to overcome, really. More importantly is the mindset and the goal structure. If we have the same mindset and the same goal structure, I know that we can anticipate the same results. So I'd invite everybody out there to go ahead, if you're not a member of our inner circle, to give us a call and schedule a strategy session with us, learn more about our program and get to learn more about your goals. And if it seems like it's going to be a good fit at that point, we'll take the next step to see if you'd be a good fit for our inner circle. And again, only our inner circle members can actually invest in our deals. And this one is a great deal, and I know we're going to announce it to our inner circle members, those who are on the call right now and those who couldn't make the call. And I'm very confident that this one is going to move very quickly. And just one more thing, we never give discounts off of our properties. The reason that we do that is because all of our properties sell. We have properties that sell the same day for the price listed, and so we never actually give concessions at all. So the fact that you can get a 1% seller concession here really, really means something. And I'd invite everybody to jump on it right now and give our office a call and see if we can take the next step.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Obviously, we look forward to hearing from you soon. We really appreciate you taking the time. I think we answered all of the questions throughout. We snuck most of them in there, but if we happen to miss you, feel free to give us a call at the office or drop us an email. We'd be happy to field the questions afterwards if we did indeed miss you. But thank you again for your support. We look forward to hearing from you soon. And if you're interested in getting approved to invest with us, it's only a matter of taking action. So. Talk to you soon. Greg, thank you so much for joining the call, pal.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody.